Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of StarBreak. During the last part, I defeated the Sarlacc of the Fungus Cave and the Grand Overseer of the Vanquished mission. In between this and the last part, I died against the Sarlacc, mainly because when I was going to the Fungus Cave for farm equipment, the rest of my support members abandoned me. So I ended up dying by falling into its maw again. So off screen I did some re-level grinding or stat boost grinding, so I got everything back up to Mach 2, and I maxed out damage, armor, and crit multiplier. Now, from going through the Vanquished mission for getting all the stat boosts, I'm starting to think that certain areas have different biases and what stat boosts you can get. Because in the Fungus Cave, I usually got stat boosts for max HP, ammo, speed, jump, and crit percentage, but I didn't get it for damage, armor, and crit multiplier. On the flip side, in the Vanquished mission, I got a lot of damage, armor, and crit multiplier boosts, but I got absolutely none for the other 5 categories. I could just chalk it up to being coincidence, but hey, it could be biased, differently biased loot tables to force players to go to different areas. Well, that's one way of supporting replay value, I suppose. Anyways, here's my equipment that I have. Pause the video if you want to see more. So, double shot here with armor piercing precision. I don't have as good of a frag, my custom broaches blast from storage, experimental trackers, and the jerkin, which aren't as strong as my previous equipment because I wasn't able to revisit Temple of the Lost, sadly. Let me drop that and let's go take a look. And as I promised in the last part, I'm going through the Vanquished mission. Not the elite version, the normal version, so that I can better show off everything about the stage, as well as the mini-boss encounter in all of its detail. If I don't have enough support, I'll teleport out right before the boss encounter though. It seems that we only have one other ally though. Well, 2 others now. Wrong button. Okay, we have full performance, so let's move on. My apologies if I do that a little bit too often. I'm always a little bit, as I said in previous starts, I'm always a bit concerned that everything is going to lag or something. It's a bad experience in web browser games, personally. Essentially, what happened in several test runs, as I said before, I ended up dying due to lag. So I always do these preemptive checks while it's safe before going to the boss fight and whatnot. Okay. We really need to get more support though, because only with 2 other wildfires, this may prove to be challenging with all the projectile spam and whatnot. And projectiles. There isn't projectile spam yet, this isn't the elite version. And now we can actually see what the enemy types are called. Like, we have this large turret which fires roughly in a diagonal pattern. And we have these slowly rotating orbs which will lock into your position. Oh good, we got a Duskwing. They'll slowly move onto your position and then attack you. Thankfully it seems like those mega cannons can only fire diagonally. They can't fire straight horizontally, so if you go right in front of them, you can just duck under them and you'll avoid taking damage. Great for just destroying them, especially with the Ironclad or any melee shells or classes like the Duskwing or the Ironclad. I don't think I'll be able to get boosts from my other stats here, sadly. Oh yeah, and the robotic enemies here, they will jump in between platforms if they feel like it's necessary, so be careful. The one with twin shooters. Essentially, what the backstory behind this mission, if I recall correctly, I'll show it in all its detail once I complete this mission at least once. The backstory behind this mission is that this is an alien planet under control of the Watcher, or aka the leader of the Harvesters who destroyed Earth and extinguished humanity as well as many other alien species. Essentially, the majority of this planet's native species are dead, and all the remaining species are enslaved by the Watcher's mysterious robotic army. So yeah, all these enemies are fighting robots, and it's our job to free, at least piece by piece, this planet, and reduce the Watcher's foothold over the galaxy. Apparently we lost one person. I don't blame them because this segment is quite difficult, especially with all the flying enemies firing these laser bolts. This is one of those locations where having long-range weaponry is very useful. And because I have the custom tracker equipped, this one, not the custom tracker, because I have positive movement speed as well as jump height, I can run a lot faster than I did before when I had negative movement speed. So that's nice. As I don't really have any use for boosts, I'm just gonna race forward. Oh, this is not that good. I'm trapped in a situation with all these turrets. Okay, I have one other friend. Yeah, these dropships will fire these missiles at you and try following you in a general direction. Strangely enough, they're kind of a biological nature because, well, instead of having propellers, they seem to have wings instead. And they will fire these missiles, which will then spread out into a splash damage range of damage. If you see them crash into the ground without completely exploding in the middle of the air, that means you can go collect some treasure that they dropped. Sadly, nothing really of use to me. If I get up to level 7, off-screen I got to level 4 due to my debt. Off-screen if I get to level 5, which is the actual minimum level requirement for unlocking the Ironclad, I will start playing as the Ironclad, because it's really helpful for the underground base as well as the Fungus Cave. It makes those missions a whole lot simpler. As I feel like certain areas or certain missions are better suited for certain shells, especially around the mid-game. Although in general, certain shells with certain equipment layouts are better in other missions compared to others. Like some locations it's better to have the shotgun, other locations it's better to use the bow type weapon on the Wildfire. At least that's from my personal experience. Oh. Oh, shoot. That's not good. One of the problems of the left modifier not actually working as intended. I kept trying to press down, but apparently it didn't want to register. Well, this isn't going as well. This isn't going as to plan. The ones with those twin pistols, they can fire directly towards their horizontal position, but the ones that are holding that gun, the spark gun, they can fire in your general direction, as in they can aim at your positioning. And be careful while you're standing on these platform spawners so you don't get hit by those spikes when they come out. Uh-oh, I guess I lost my friend. Well, that sucks. Well, I can't really complete this mission alone because I'll die in the boss fight. Although personally I feel like this boss, the Grand Overseer, is much easier than the boss of the Fungus Cave, aka the Sarlacc. Especially as there's no instant death traps and enemies who can just easily knock you into pits, like the flies did. Okay. Let's get home. This is too dangerous. Sorry, I would have completed this, but I really need at least 4 or 5 other players so I can defeat the boss. And the mini-boss as well. Oh well, let's try again. And let's see what else is open. Let's see here. Temple of the Lost, I'm not going there. I'm not touching that without some extra equipment. I need tier 3 boosts at the very least. And boy, there's a lot of people buy this dummy. A lot of ironclads specifically. Oh, wait a minute. Oh boy. I think the Star Cathedral is going to be opening soon. We only need 100 more mysterious keys. But sadly we can't open it because we don't have the necessary equipment or necessary keys. We need to go to tier 5 missions in order to unlock them. Okay, let's take a look at the Elite Fire Force then. Now, Elite missions in comparison are harder versions of the normal missions. Basically, what happens in the Elite missions is that the enemy AI is improved, so they act more smarter, and their attack patterns are a lot more dangerous. Their attacks generally do more damage, and there are a lot more projectiles. Or even if they don't have more projectiles, they act more smartly. They're more smart with releasing their attacks. And of course, there are new enemy types that may appear. Like in Elite Fire Force, there's one new enemy type, an upgraded form of the Bull Goblin. But we'll see that soon enough, hopefully. But as the trade-off for going through the tougher missions is that you have a chance of getting much better gear. In fact, you can get gear that's one level above, or at least one max level above in terms of quality and rarity. You can get experimental gear, which has the most modifiers, which is quite awesome in my book. And this is the only way to get exotic experimental gear, which only drops from bosses. In essence, in order to get the absolute best gear in this game, you need to defeat elite bosses and hope that they drop exotic equipment. Exotic experimental equipment. Even then, it may not be exactly what you're looking for. Okay, there's the upgraded form of the Bull Goblin. They act just like the Bull Goblins, but instead of being vulnerable on both sides, they're only vulnerable behind. So you need to wait for them to ram into the wall, jump over them, and hit them in behind. Unless you have armor piercing or explosive ammo, of course. In general, don't go to the Elite Fire Force until you're relatively skilled with the normal Fire Force, as everything is much more difficult to take care of with tougher, increased shot patterns, as well as everything dealing more damage in general. Unfortunately, the boosts are going to be the same as the original version of the Forest. In that case, well, all the boosts are going to be tier 1, not tier 2, even though this mission is medium in terms of difficulty instead of easy. But in general, in the elite versions of the missions, you'll never get the equipment which has no modifiers. You'll always have equipment that at base has one modifier, at least one modifier. So that's a nice way of getting back up to speed in terms of equipment. Okay, let's do the elite version of the boss and hope we don't die again. So basically, he's going to be faster, and the damage he's going to deal is going to be a lot more dangerous. As I can see over here, he's releasing the fireballs a lot more rapidly. And as you can see, the fireballs deal double damage, so they're quite dangerous. Okay, we got him down to his second phase. But I believe for the early bosses, or actually all bosses, they will have the same number of phases. It's just that their shot patterns, shot damage, and the number of shots they do fire is going to be higher. And of course, the small enemies are now much more dangerous than before. They're now as dangerous as they were in the original version of StarBreak, because they deal 15 points of damage. At least for me. I better stay back, actually. Oh, and my mistake, as a correction to 2 parts back, or 1 part back, the health packs have always restored 25 health, not 10 health. I'm gonna play it really safe and stay below here so I don't get killed. Oh, there you go. Okay, he's in his third phase, so that's a good sign. I'm not sure if the elite bosses have more health, but it sure feels that way, mainly due to all the projectiles and having to dodge more carefully. There are no healing classes in this game, and the only way you can get health is from chests or random drops from enemy destruction, or enemy deaths. So you gotta be really careful. And of course, you have to be really careful while going up to the boss door, because it's usually really difficult to escape the boss, because anytime you take damage, you're cancelled out of the escape animation. Okay, the Elite Fire Force has been completed. As I was saying though, if you take any points of damage or move, you're cancelled out of the home recall animation. so that can be really problematic. But for the Elite Fire Force and Fire Force, there is an alcove or little hole in the lower left part of the screen which makes it so much easier to get out. Alright, here are the experimental gears. The experimental gear will have 3 modifiers at the very least, so that's nice. Like we have the prototype Air Blast, which now has about 2 modifiers. Experimental Talons, which has 3 modifiers. I'll definitely take that instead. A custom Lancet, experimental Sabatons. I don't really find any use for it. But alas, the Elite Fire Force has been completed. Much better experience compared to what happened with the Vanquished mission. And because we completed the Elite Fire Force, I'm up to max level 9. I should be able to unlock all my gear.